They can bring Tom Hiddleston back, and he can look exactly the same after being in Access Monday.
Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson have been there.
Yeah.
Hey team, welcome back to Podzilla once again. My name is Micah, and I'm here with quiet you.
Okay, I won't introduce myself. Sorry, go on.
And I'm here with everybody's favorite co-host of the show, Jaysha Drake.
I'm everyone's favorite co-host.
Yeah,
You're not.
I'm everyone's favorite host.
Oh, really? So there's a host and a co-host.
Depending on...
All right.
Look, it is purely defined by who comes up with a rating system for that episode. That's
Really?
the official Podzilla canon. Team, we were supposed to go and fly out to see the Godzilla X Kong premiere, The New Empire.
Yes.
This week. We got stopped at customs by some people in black cloaks. They had like this little butterfly symbol on their shoulder pads. We haven't seen the light of the sun for a week at least.
No, we've been locked away. They've been questioning us. I'm strapped to a bed right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one of them dropped off a calling card. They've just left it on a little side table in front of me. I'm not even going to look at it.
What does it say?
I'm not even going to look at it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not putting up with this BS.
I have been strapped to a chair. I've been able to walk around though, and I've just tried throwing it as much as I can against the wall.
You've just got a chair stuck to your back.
Yep. Picture me this whole episode with a chair stuck to my back, and it'll be bang on. But someone sent us this package with some recording equipment in it, so we thought we'd make the most of it.
Yeah. Even though we're trapped away, locked away here, we're still gonna... We can't stop Godzilla, right?
We can't stop Podzilla because a week ago, before we got taken up by this shadow company, this shadow corporation, we did watch the Apple TV show Monarch.
Legacy of Monsters.
Legacy of Monsters. So we're going off pure memory alone, no notes.
No, exactly. And I mean, before we get into that, Micah, we usually do our Godzilla news segment.
That's true.
However, we haven't had access to the outside world. So could you make up some news for us that could potentially be real?
Yeah. Let me think. Well, Godzilla X Kong is supposed to come out soon, so
yeah.
Tell you what, I'm saying this now. Just recently, there has been a new announcement on all the social medias. It is the biggest thing in the world.
Whoa.
That, let's call a company, Madrinus, a boba tea company. They've announced Godzilla's honeydew milk tea and Kong's cookie crumble milk tea. These will be amazingly flavored. They'll taste so good. We're going to grab some once we get out of this even.
Why? I mean, I cannot confirm or deny whether this is true news or not, but if it is real, why is there so many food tie-ins for Godzilla and Kong? Like, no other movie gets this many food tie-ins. Every single big fast food franchise is wanting to make money off Godzilla right now.
I don't think I've seen a food tie-in actually for a movie in years.
No.
Another piece of absolutely real news though, Jaysha. Your favorite mobile game, Lords Mobile?
Yes.
They've just announced a series of collab events for Godzilla X Kong.
Wow. Well, man, I'm excited for Lords Mobile.
Let me just draw a picture of the thumbnail here. This is what it would look like. You see how there's like a little pink Godzilla on there?
Yeah, it looks like Clash of Clans.
Yeah, well, that's just my art style.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, just the art style.
I just don't know, because Godzilla and Toho and Legendary seem really good at picking real great collab partners. Like the Call of Duty event was really cool.
That was really cool.
Call of Duty, like a trusted brand, a game that heaps of people love. You've got the upcoming Godzilla tie-in collab with like Dave the Diver, which is, again, a real cool indie game that people love.
Not an indie game. Yes,
it's
sure.
Dave the Diver? Yeah, exactly. We've talked about this. I thought it was indie, but it's not. But it's indie in the sense that mainstream gamers don't play it?
I would tend to say no again.
Really?
I get what you mean. Like, it's not an established brand.
No.
And for like a standalone game, it is just a really weird yet cool connection to have there. Cool collaboration.
Yeah, again, which just makes it a real cool collaboration. But then they just sell off the rights to any of these characters for any burger that pops up, for any trashy microtransaction-filled mobile game.
Well,
it's like, hey,
watch your mouth when you're talking about the Ants game.
Yeah, what was that Ants game tie-in? I'm pretty sure, was it Raid Shadow Legends? No, that was Monster Hunter.
That was Monster Hunter.
What are these?
They got the big bucks.
Why are they giving their property, their characters, their monsters to just the worst games that are tarnishing their brand, if anything?
You cannot tell me that if Lords Mobile approached us for a collaboration, you wouldn't want us in the game.
I guess you're right.
Jaysha, my last piece of absolutely real news.
Wait, could I guess this one?
Yeah.
I think because we just covered Chibi Godzilla and Chibi Godzilla Raids again on the show.
Sure.
And it is coming out, I think, the new season on April 3rd. Is that right? I think.
Yeah, April 3rd is the date it would be.
I am guessing that by now there is probably a poster out and they've probably revealed what the characters Gigan, Gabara, and Titanosaurus will look like.
I'm seeing it now in my mind's eye.
I can sketch down for you right here what I think, they're going to look like. What do you think of these designs?
Use that really short, stubby pencil.
Yeah,
the shavings of everywhere.
Yeah, what do you think of these designs?
I like the look of Gigan. You drew him quite well.
Thank you.
I'm still not sold on Manila, and I think that Gabara looks a little bit funny. He looks just like a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably supposed to be.
He's probably supposed to be a jerk, but
I actually really like Titanosaurus.
I do too.
They didn't give his a snout, his muzzle, whatever. We didn't figure out what that was called, but they took away his elongated face, and he's just got more of a circular head with his nostrils and mouth on that.
It makes him look chibi. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's quite a nice design. I think on the poster he is like giving everyone a side eye, so I wonder if Titanosaurus is going to be a bit of a mischief maker, just like Gabara is, or Gabara, sorry.
No, it's good. It's going to be good.
I can't wait. This is coming out. This is what Podzilla's building towards, is Godzilla Raids Again Season 2.
This is the end game. It wasn't GXK. Monsterverse has been, they've been keeping us in the dark for so long.
Yeah.
All Monsterverse has been building up to Chibi Godzilla Raids Again Season 2.
The Monsterverse has been.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've one last piece of news, actually.
Oh,
Jaysha.
yes.
So I'm guessing, I'm predicting that Volkswagen Japan has announced a collaboration, and their new full electric SUV ID4 will appear in the movie.
In Godzilla X Kong.
That's right. Yep, calling it now, and they're going to have a special wrapped car exhibited at some event on March 23rd.
Well, I have to say, Volkswagen is a pretty good brand to go
Pretty trusted brand.
into collaboration with.
I've never understood car collaborations. Or like car wraps.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the scenes in movies when there's obviously like new car they're trying to push. Like, do you remember in the Barbie movie when there's just that random segment where I think America Ferrera picks up Barbie with her daughter in a car, and there's just these like real pristine, real like great clips of the car in action for like 5 minutes before it gets back to the rest of the Barbie movie.
See like a 5-second clip of them touching the dashboard and like automatically changing to the
Legit.
GPS.
Yeah. I don't get it. Hopefully we do get something like that in Godzilla X Kong, actually. Can you imagine that? They're like trying to drive away from Godzilla and it's just
Dan Stevens pops on Spotify. We get a needle drop.
Dan Stevens like, wow, it's so easy to connect my phone up to this car.
The Hollow Earth seems to be improving the signal.
This actually has a Hollow Earth GPS tracking system. Look, it's mapped out everything. Buy the new Volkswagen.
Jaysha, do you want to bring us in?
I can bring us in, yeah. So we have been watching Monarch Legacy of the Monsters, which came out late 2023. I think the episodes were releasing up until earlier this year, 2024. I watched a few of the episodes as they were released, then I decided to take a break and then come back to them now for the show. Mikey, you hadn't watched any episodes?
The only things I had seen were a couple memes on Twitter. Sorry, on X.
Yes.
Kong.
On X Kong, yeah. But I mean, we're fully up to date with the MonsterVerse now. We've freshly just watched everything from Godzilla 2014 up until Skull Island. And more than ever, we were ready to tackle Monarch. After we finish this, we're going to be ready for Godzilla X Kong, which is pretty cool. But I'll take us into the Monarch show so we can talk about it, eh? Monarch, the scientific giant, the International Titan Prevention Agency. Where did they come from? When scientists Keiko and Bill Randa team up with Lieutenant Leland Lee Lafayette Shaw III in the 50s to search for some big old monsters, they could have never imagined the legacy of the work they would be doing. In the modern day, the grandchildren of the Randas have to find an older, jaded Lee Shaw to uncover the secrets of Monarch and discover what happened to their father, Keiko and Bill's son. But it's not going to be easy. As Monarch sends agents to kidnap them, Apex Cybernetics begins to blackmail them, and all manner of titans jump into the fray. There's also a bunch of crazy time travel, dimensional portal stuff happening that is blending the modern crew in with the gang from the past, and they all get together. But we'll get to that later. In the end, Godzilla appears through rifts, the Randa family reunites, Apex saves the day, everyone joins together on Skull Island, and they're going to continue with Monarch to grow the legacy of monsters.
There's a lot that happens in this show.
Yeah, I felt like that was very incoherent, but the show kind of is.
It's hard to sum up a show like that, which is, it's like 8 hours all up.
Yeah.
The most MonsterVerse content we've got solely in one show.
Totally, yeah. Is it the most Godzilla content we've got in one show? Probably second to Godzilla Island.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much to it, but where should we start with this just mountain?
Well, let's talk about where the show starts, right?
Skull Island with Bill Randa.
With Bill Randa, yeah. We get our good friend, John Goodman, back, reprising his role as Bill Randa on a little scene that's supposed to be taking place in the Skull Island movie before Bill Randa is killed off.
Mm-hmm.
And we see him, versing a Mother Longlegs as he's running away with his camera. And then he chucks some of his scientific documents into the ocean before another monster, I believe it's the Mantle Claw.
The Mantle Claw.
Starts fighting the Mother Longlegs. They fall into the ocean as Bill Randa survives. But as we know, he'll soon run back into the fray and then just get killed off anyway.
Yeah. I think from this scene, it sets up kind of a interesting connection because we saw a very similar scene to this happen in the Birth of Kong graphic novel that we read, where there was a little Monarch package that was sent out floating in the water. And I think that's the start of a few different connections that were taken from the book and adapted to more of a mainline show in this. Good to see John Goodman.
Yeah, I will say, obviously this is in the first episode. This is in the few episodes I watched before rewatching. And the CGI is real janky. I don't know if you caught it, but just...
For the show or just the scene?
The scene. I feel like John Goodman could not have been on location filming for this. He would have been in a green screen. Every bit of motion, every bit of blur just looks so off. And that's something I remember. I mean, it happens in the first few episodes of Monarch in general, but just anytime anyone's outside or when they're later in the ice and the tundra, it just looks real fake. And I don't know if they use the Disney Dome that the Mandalorian uses.
We know the Disney Dome.
But I don't know, something's just off for me. And the show does get better later on, especially when it's using more modern buildings and then they're in cities. But that's just, especially the scene with John Goodman was just pretty rough.
I want to say that it's almost setting up for failure having a show like this, which is so dependent on having like realistic depictions of kaiju, so much so that they're supposed to match the movies in terms of quality. You're having to like shovel a movie's budget into this, not just for any of the kaiju, but also for like destruction scenes, terrain, let alone just walking around on non-existent Skull Island. I did like the use of the yellow Skull Island filter that they slapped in on that.
You instantly know it's Skull Island, right?
And I must confess here, Jasha, after watching most of the show, obviously we get to see the group of the OG Monarch crew at the start. Bill Randa, Leland, Lafayette,
Lee Shaw,
and Keiko. By the end of the show, I was like, man, this is such an interesting mystery. I wonder what happened to Bill Randa. He's the only character who I don't know what happened to. I completely forgot that was John Goodman from the start.
It's so weird, right? Because I think the Skull Island movie with John Goodman is supposed to take place like not but 10 years after when we last see young John Goodman, played by Anders Holm.
Oh, like I'd say like 30 years, because that's in the 80s.
But we see him in the 70s in this show, or at least in the 60s. We see him in this, we'll go into it, but we see him doing stuff with Monarch in the 60s, and then Kong Skull Island's supposed to take place in the 70s. And in 10 years, Anders Holm has grown into John Goodman. I can't see it.
Man, it's what the Hollow Earth does to you.
But I mean, let's talk about that 50s crew, because something I love about Monarch is that it plays with time really uniquely. Like, I haven't seen many shows do this before, where we've got Kurt Russell playing Lee Shaw in the modern present day stuff.
Yep.
And then we've got his actual son in real life, Wyatt Russell, playing his son in the 50s and 60s stuff. And I really love that, because it's more believable that they are the real person, younger and older versions. And it's just so fun to watch an episode of the show go on, and you're following the modern day crew, and then it gets stuck on Kurt Russell's face, and then it like crossfades into Wyatt Russell's face, and then you're watching the crew in the 50s. Like,
there's some real cool transitions there.
But not only that, I think the first episode of Monarch, we are following this OG Monarch gang, the three of them, and we see Kiko get killed. Keiko.
This is Kiko's Kong's son. You're getting this all mixed up.
I'm getting it mixed up. Keiko. We see Keiko get killed. She falls into a pit of spider creatures. And it plays with time so much that, like, we're not just switching between the modern gang and the old school group, like, in chronological order. We're seeing Keiko die, and then we swap back to before she dies, and it's all leading up to when she dies. It's real interesting, is what I'm trying to say.
I was under the assumption that this show was set across like 3 different time periods.
Yeah.
Like the modern, the past, and then G-Day. But you get so many flickers back and forth, to the point where something's set up like that in the first episode. You're almost a bit confused as to the story as it goes on. But I really like it, especially because there are so many different like mysteries and revelations that start to make sense, and they play with that aspect of you not really knowing the timeline of things to make it work out. Like, from the start of the show, we have our modern crew of Kate, May,
and Kintaro.
Kate and Kintaro are... Shoot, this time let me get my corkboard out with the red string.
It's so convoluted.
This is my favorite thing about this show. It's much more of a drama in some ways, but it's just so interesting because they have such unique relationships between characters.
Yeah.
In the modern day, we have Kate, and Kate's with her mum, but her dad is named Hiroshi. And most of the show is spent with this modern gang searching for Hiroshi across different countries. But she finds out that Hiroshi actually had a second family.
Yep.
He was split between Kintaro and Kintaro's mum as well.
Yep.
And they're having to team up with this like almost feud between them of, hey, my father was cheating on your... my father was cheating on my family by being with yours. And they just both hate each other from the start.
And then you mix in May, who is, I think she was dating Kintaro, or they had a relationship, and then she's on the run from authorities, and she's got like a secret backstory when she's not using a real name and running away from the group that is Apex Cybernetics. Everyone's got this huge history that the show actually gives us time to like play out, which I really like.
Yeah.
But I think that's a problem for me. The show gets significantly better in the second half. I feel like the first half, for some reason, for me, it just doesn't work super well, or it's quite cliche at times. I don't know. Like, some things just don't make sense. It's hard to talk about it.
Give
in
it
the
to
show.
me. Give
It's
it to me.
10 episodes long. But in the present day, the crew of Kate, Kintaro, and May, they're figuring out all the stuff about Kintaro and Kate's dad. They go looking for someone who might know information, which is Lee Shaw. Mm-hmm. And Lee Shaw is just in this Monarch compound. And it's something I didn't like about the start is just like no problem at all. They're able to just take Lee Shaw out of this Monarch compound. Then no problem at all. They're able to go to the Arctic to look for their dad. No problem at all. They get away from the huge Titan, the Frostvark that's there. No problem at all. They get saved and they're out of the Arctic. Like, it's just a sequence of things happening, which it just seems way too easy. Like, it's just almost cliche at times.
I get that. It can feel like a very generic, just like adventure country hopping romp.
Yeah.
I kind of like it though, because from the start, again, like playing with that relationships, not only of characters, but also like organizations as well, where as the viewers set up to believe that Monarch is this real secret, like shadow organization who sends out like hitmen and assassins, very different tonally to the Monarch we see in the movies. We believe that like the Monarch agents are actively hunting down Lee Shaw and the rest of these guys. And I kind of like that as the show goes on, it's almost like the veil is lifted a little bit and we start to see them come more into the light of this actual, let me more say, a return to form of what the organization originally was back when Lee Shaw and Keiko and Bill founded it back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it as well, because from the get-go, I didn't connect with any of these modern-day characters.
It's rough.
They're just all unlikable. They're all like angry at each other. They feel like they've got no like backstory to any of them. They're just bland, argumentative characters.
It's hard because like they're great actors.
Yeah.
I really like the three of them and how they play these characters, but I think they're like supposed to be bland characters in a world of things that are happening to them.
Yeah, which is why I think that also contributed to why I stopped watching initially, because I was like, I'm not really feeling this. We'll get to it when we properly get to it for Podzilla. But as the show goes on, you have the episodes that actually dive deeper into their backstories.
Yeah.
And I think this is when I started to love them. Like, there's a episode when we see Kintaro and May meet each other. And we just spend a lot of time with like Kintaro wrestling with his art. He's an artist, and he meets May, and then like they get a genuine bond between the two of them. And then it's flashing back towards them first meeting and like almost falling in love a little bit to them in the present day, arguing with each other and getting angry about what they needing to do. And by the end of the show, there's like there's real heartfelt segments when you've watched 10 episodes of these characters together. And Kintaro loses May and Kate at the end of the show, and he's like in a hospital bed and he's just screaming out like, they're my family, I need to get back to them. And the show's just built up in a really interesting way where they start off as kind of unlikable, forgettable, then it builds out who these characters are, and then at the very end of the show, when you do feel for them and do like them, that's when it starts pulling their relationships apart and playing on your heartstrings.
You know what it felt a lot like for me?
What?
Lost.
Yes.
At the start of that show, you just have all these random characters, but I don't know, you have Hurley in the first episode of that, and he's forgettable, but it's only when you get up to his episode with his backstory that you start getting invested with him.
Yes.
It's the same in this, like each episode, and looking back on it now, it was a little bit more unclear in those first few episodes, but you get to like the episode where they're going back into, what was the US city that was fully destroyed?
San Francisco?
It might be San Francisco, where the gang goes in, it's like high levels of radiation, they have to like go in, they have 12 hours to find information and get back out. And it's this real cool episode that focuses on Kate and her backstory, because while she's going into the city that's been just utterly destroyed by Godzilla in the past, she's having these real intense flashbacks to G-Day and the events that were happening, really like pulling a clear parallel between the two.
Yeah, that's when I started to love the show as well, because with Kate, when we meet her mum later on in the show, there's like discussions when we find out that Kate's just been like severely depressed ever since her dad left. And I think there's a line when Kate's mum says specifically like, I wasn't just going to stand around and watch my daughter kill herself.
Yeah.
Like Kate's in ruins, Kintaro's like almost in ruins, May's life's in ruins, and you just start learning all those pieces as the show goes on.
You see why they're broken people.
Yeah. And that's why I loved Lost, and I think that's why I love this at the end as well. It's because all those flashbacks and backstories are there to make you more invested in these characters, and it really pays off, I think, in this show.
It does, yeah. You get to the end of it and it's such a cool feeling to finally understand characters' ambitions and to know what they've been through. And like, to give another example, it plays out real cool when the first time we see modern day Lee Shaw.
Russell. Micah, Kurt Russell's in a Godzilla show.
Yeah, give me...
Kurt Russell says
I'll let you rave about him for a second.
I just love Kurt Russell. I mean, our dad introduced us to Godzilla. He also introduced us to a lot of 80s shows and movies and stuff that he really loved.
Big Trouble.
Yeah, The Thing. Big Trouble. He introduced us to a lot of John Carpenter films that are still to this day some of my favorite movies. And Kurt Russell, I've just loved this guy. I think he's my favorite 80s like action hero. And it's just it still blows my mind that he's in a Godzilla show. He like speaks the words Godzilla. He's playing this like grizzled colonel that, it's like, I can't believe it's real. It's cool.
I got to rave about Wyatt Russell.
Yeah?
Ever since I saw him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he is just absolutely epic.
He's so good at this.
He's so good, man.
He mimics his dad, and I think his dad mimics him in this. Like, they're trying to act like each other, and they do. Like, it's so believable that they're the same person, I feel like, for me.
I think sometimes it's a little broken by just how over the top Kurt Russell can act at times. Like, he's just this like quite boisterous actor, and I feel like Wyatt plays a little more reserved character. But no, it's so cool to see them, and like you said, having a father-son duo. You don't really see that much nowadays.
And they're both so charismatic.
Yeah, Wyatt's charisma.
But sorry, what were you saying about Lee Shaw? You're talking about when we first met him.
No, it's cool because when we see him, like, we're led at the start, especially with the flashbacks with Wyatt, to think that he's like the good guy.
Yes.
And as the show goes on, his and Monarch's the kind of plans that they have and their objectives clash a lot more. And as you see the main trio of Kate, Kintaro, and May switch sides to Monarch.
Yeah.
Give us some names.
We can be modern Monarch and old school Monarch.
I like that.
Yeah.
When you have modern Monarch aren't even really in Monarch.
Okay, never mind.
No, let's call them that. Modern Monarch, these three, they side properly with Monarch. And you have a few episodes there where Lee turns into this more antagonistic character, or it seems like, at least. And I just really like it how, I don't know, I feel like in the past, Kurt Russell has always played these very heroic good guys. And I feel like it was almost intentional them bringing along him to play this quote unquote hero.
Yeah.
Leading us to believe that he's a good guy and almost having no doubts about him. I think it was aided by us reading Godzilla Awakening, the comic that he was first introduced in. That was a tie-in with 2014 Godzilla, because it wasn't anything bad about his character there.
No.
It's just so cool to have a little twist like that where it seems at least like he's turned into a villain for a bit.
It's interesting because I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 did the same thing, right?
Guardians did the same thing, yeah.
Where they like twisting Kurt Russell to be like, yeah, he's the hero, but then, something's off with him.
Whenever we see Kurt Russell casted in something, we're like, yeah,
he's the good guy. Good. What did you think about the old school, the OG Monarch crew? Of Shaw, young Shaw, played by Wyatt Russell, of Anders Holm playing young Bill Randa, and then with Keiko.
I like these three. Wyatt's great. I didn't feel like I connected with Bill that much. I think he was the weakest of the bunch. Yeah. At times, he can come off as a bit more of comedic relief, but he gets much better by the end, as everyone else does. I gotta say, though, like, Keiko feels like the heart and soul of this whole show. To me, at least, nearer the end of the season, there are a few scenes with her. Yeah, I mean, you're not listening to this episode, hopefully, if you haven't seen the show, but she gets trapped in, I don't want to call it the Hollow Earth, because they call it Axis Mundi.
It's a place between places, a dimension between the real world and the Hollow Earth, apparently.
Yeah, they set it up as, like, take Godzilla, for instance. It's a place where the Titans traverse through and pop out in other areas of the Earth, almost like, I don't know, the Upside Down.
Yeah,
but much less gritty
vibes.
and dark.
Yeah.
And where was I going with this? Keiko gets trapped in there. And first off, Lee gets trapped in there as well. And there are a few conversations that take place early in the season where they're like, wait, Lee, you'd be like 90 years old by now if you were there back in the 50s.
I love this because first off, when they say that to Lee Shaw, Kurt Russell, it's funny because you're just like, oh, obviously all the timelines with the Monsterverse don't sync up. Kurt Russell looks good for 90 years old.
They're using Wyatt and Kurt Russell. They have to have a bit of an inconsistent age gap between them. Yeah. I thought it was fully a joke.
Me too.
Yeah, as time goes on, it's revealed that he spent time in Axis Mundi. It was just a great little moment there. But yeah, Keiko is trapped there for a long time. And at the very end of the season, we have this reunion between her and Lee Shaw, and then her and Kate as well. And I just really love Keiko throughout this whole show.
I think she was my favorite character too, to be honest. And Mari Yamamoto, she's so good in the role.
She has a lot of really heartfelt moments to shine, even if it's back in the 50s and 60s, having conversations with Lee Shaw about how she's feeling being a doctor and Japanese and being like constantly slammed by the US for not being a trustworthy compatriot to them. Seeing her, it's revealed that she's a widow and that Hiroshi, who's Kate's and Kentaro's dad, neither Lee or Bill are actually his parents.
It's just this unknown Japanese guy.
So she's like having such great conversations about having to be a widow and raise him on her own, but also just her reunions at the end between all these people, her and Lee, her and Kate, and right at the very end, her and a much older than her Hiroshi. I cried so many times when she was saying like her farewells to them in the past, but then reunions with them again.
Yeah.
She's a great actor. I loved her in this.
Is that really you?
Of course it is. Who is this?
It's me, Kay. It's Lee.
Lee? Your voice sounds different. Come out where I can see you.
No, just stay there for a second. There's some things you need to understand first.
What things?
How long do you think you've been down here, Kay?
By my estimation, 57 days. Why? Why are you hiding from me?
I came down here too, Kay, after you fell. I led a recon mission.
Wait, you are here? How? When?
That mission was in 1962.
It's 1959. You're not making sense.
I came down here in 1962. I thought I was here for only a week or so, and then I was able to get right back up. I escaped, but it was 1982.
Oh.
And that was 33 years ago.
I loved the banter between the OG Monarch crew. I could have watched the whole show just with them, to be honest. Like when Kiko and Lee meet the first time, and Lee's on the dock looking for this doctor, and he's looking for anyone but her, and his face, like Wyatt Russell's face, when he realizes like she's the one he's looking for,
Mura.
and he makes a fool of himself. It's just so fun. I just love Kurt Russell, man.
You love Kurt Russell? You love Wyatt Russell, don't you?
I'm getting them confused. I love the Lee Shaw character. He's just so cocky. And I love how his relationship with Keiko, like, it's kind of heartbreaking at times because they get some real cool scenes when they go to this like military dance together and they're properly starting to bond and they're about to go back to the room and get together, and then they get called away on Monarch business.
The things I do for Monarch.
You get Bill Radner calling up and he's just like, Bill, come on, bro. But they have another scene when they're sitting on a bench at like a pier just before Godzilla appears. And like Shaw's just talking about his feelings and he wants to be with Keiko, and like they kiss and Keiko's like, we shouldn't be doing this. We can't be together.
We can't put the greater good before our own desires. You risk losing everything.
I don't care.
Yes. You do.
And it's real sad because Wyatt Russell, Lee Shaw, wasn't supposed to be there. He betrayed Monarch, and no, he didn't betray Monarch. He betrayed the military.
No, he went to see her against their orders.
Yes.
And because of that, he ended up like losing
control of Monarch. And then Keiko held that against him. And then while she's angry at him, her and Bill Randa spend a lot of time together, and they're doing Hollow Earth studies in that room filled with Japanese lanterns, and it's like really beautiful moments of them like bonding together. And then she gets with Bill Randa, and Lee Shaw's just like there looking through the doorway, real sad that everything worked out the way it did.
Yeah, another one of my like great things about the show is the relationships. That's a really interesting relationship to have between these three characters who are all great friends, but things just don't work up well for some of them.
No.
Work out well.
And then this is one of the things, like one of the times when everything was just a bit too convenient for me. Lee Shaw goes through into Access Monday, right? He comes out and he's in like 20 years in the future or however it is. Monarch find him and just chuck him in like a retirement home for 40 plus years.
And because he could have been a Soviet spy.
Well, like, why? Why is this guy who was one of the founders of Monarch just locked away where he can talk to no one and do nothing with his life for 40 years? So he's conveniently there when the modern Monarch team come and find him.
My thing with it is you expect me to believe that for 20 years he was handed pills. Lee Shaw of Monarch fame.
Yes.
And for 20 years just ate them up with no one watching him.
That shot of Wyatt Russell with like his belly out as he's just sitting there as he ages into Kurt Russell. Yeah, I don't know. But I do love that original trio, as you were saying, the banter between them. I love the relationship between Shaw and Randa. Shaw obviously doesn't really like Randa. Randa obviously doesn't really like Shaw, but the amount of like jabbing at each other they do and little quips, it's just
They're
really
still good friends.
Yeah, it is real fun.
And Keiko in this almost acts as another Yamane type character where she is this real solid connection and love for the Titans of the Earth. This is the show in which we see the Castle Bravo scene, something that's been teased for a long time in the Monsterverse.
I mean, we saw clips of it in Godzilla 2014. We also read about it in the Godzilla Awakening Monsterverse tie-in comic, which shows it very differently.
Yeah, very differently.
It's interesting what this Monarch show does because it cements in canon what Monarch is. And according to the show, right, it was just those three. Like Bill Randa from Kong Skull Island is one of the founders of Monarch.
Yeah.
The three of them saw Godzilla and saw all manner of Titans, which doesn't really line up with Kong Skull Island when Bill Randa's like, man, I just saw Dude, he says, John Goodman.
Yeah, he says something.
John Goodman says something like, man, I was the only survivor of this boat when it was attacked by a giant monster in the 40s.
In the
And
40s?
That's before anything that happens in Monarch, and he sees way many monsters.
No. Because, no, that ties up with the ship that he sees.
With the Ion Monster?
Yeah,
Iron
I think
Dragon?
that's what it's called.
The Iron Dragon?
When he and Keiko have like the chase through the boat.
But is he really the survivor, the only survivor of that ship?
He was.
He's just
He said that
abandoned ship.
No, he said that everybody else. No, because he was on that ship
Oh.
originally when it
Hey, you're
was
right.
attacked, and
Maybe
that's
I
why
missed
he's.
that.
No, it all makes sense.
Does it?
It's a clean slate. There are no dangling plot threads whatsoever in the monster.
So when John Goodman says that was his only run-in with a monster, and he clearly sees Godzilla multiple times.
he didn't run in with Godzilla. It's good. No, that Castle Bravo scene is cool. I really like it. The military trying to use its like most powerful nuclear, I think it was plutonium,
The hydrogen bomb. Yeah.
hydrogen bomb, the greatest weapon America has ever made, on Godzilla, and they go like most of the show just assuming that Godzilla is dead. It sets Godzilla up in a real cool way. I loved all the scenes with Godzilla. We get some stuff in the present day in like Africa, was it, with him as well?
Him coming out of the sand.
With new scoots.
Yeah, even though a lot of the general like special effects felt a bit janky to me, something the show did really well was the monsters and the monster design. I could not differentiate between like how Godzilla looks in this and how he looks in the movies. Like there's a shot at the Castle Bravo scene when the camera comes out of the water and it's like going up Godzilla's tail and his scoots, and they just look so good.
The scoots look good?
The scoots look so good. The water like falling off at like waterfalls, and it's just, yeah, for an Apple TV Plus show, the monsters look great. Every episode has some run-in with a monster, I feel.
Most of
them are pretty brief, but it all looks real cool.
Yeah, and I didn't think I would like Monarch for this reason, but I do like how it actually is quite light on Godzilla. He only shows up for a couple of a few episodes, and while there are other monsters around the place, it just feels more so like a show that is set in the world of the Monsterverse rather than a standout feature of it.
Yeah, and I feel like 2015 was a really good place to set this like the modern day goings on of this show, because it's just after 2014. Monarch hasn't announced itself to the world yet. It's not like in Godzilla King of the Monsters when they have all the soldiers under their control and huge like flying battleships and all manner of crazy technological advancements and stuff. Like Monarch is still a shady organization, and there's conversations in this like that they think that San Francisco is just a hoax. At the start of the show, Kate's like with a taxi driver who's like, I have a podcast if you want to listen to it. I think it's just a hoax.
Another one of these podcasters.
Another podcast representation.
Monsterverse is just doing these podcasters dirty. It's great. I think this Monarch show is like has such a great opportunity to tell stories. Because let's be real, the Monsterverse has like a lot of implications for events that are set between movies.
Yeah.
Monarch is the perfect place to talk about them and show them.
Even just how we see Kate get off a plane early in the show, and the plane, everyone needs to be sprayed on the plane to get rid of any parasites or any like radiation that's on them. And then we see, or again early on in the series, where Kate is rushed off to like a Godzilla evacuation bunker.
Yeah.
It's just cool world building. And I loved as well how Godzilla's influence in those first couple episodes are just the scenes we see of him in Kate's like PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah.
When, because of him, a whole bus of children die that she isn't able to save. Yeah.
So good. Like there's so many great things in this show that you could just go on and on talking about. Like one of my other favorite things, like take Kate specifically, it's revealed that prior to G-Day, she was in a relationship with another woman, but ended up cheating on her with another woman as well.
Yeah, before she gets on the bus and all those kids die. Like it's the whole...
And like that parallels so well with the present day, her father being split between two people. And I don't know, I really like her as a character because she's a Kiwi as well.
Is she?
New Zealand born Japanese.
Is she?
Yeah, she is.
Really?
That wasn't my trivia, but I'll just throw that out there now.
Wow.
But it's so cool because it's like her whole search for Hiro in this Hiroshi, her dad. It feels like it's almost out of a desire to repent for her cheating on her partner with another woman, because
Redeem herself almost.
Because if her father was split between these two families and died because of it, like, how is she any better if she doesn't try to make amends and try and make it right?
Yeah.
And yeah, just seeing her in her element, like trying to save all of these children and just getting beaten down time and time again because of it. Yeah, it's rough for all of these people.
How about, like, imagine walking into your dead dad's apartment and just finding a whole nother family in there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Bro, it's rough.
It's freaking rough.
I wanted to ask as well, quickly, Kentaro,
Yes.
how did you like his art installation?
His art installation when it's like faces that he's projecting other faces on top of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
It's so interesting how, like, yeah.
I prefer proper art than random, like, technologically enhanced pieces.
Well, that's his story, right? He has his own art that he wants to do. No. Jaysha, we haven't talked about my actual favorite character.
Are we talking about Tim?
We're talking about Tim.
The, like, techie dweeb from Monarch who's wanting to go and do field work even though he sucks at it.
He's like the Mulder of Monarch.
He actually is. That's a great comparison.
He's down there just being super nerdy.
There's a time later on in the show where, like, there's this real suspenseful music that's, like, building up. And then we just see Tim's head, like, poke around the corner. Then it'll, like, it all stops.
Tim going to May's apartment being like, follow my lead, trips on the curb on the way up. He's, like, the only piece of comedic relief in this show. But I feel like even better than the Monsterverse, he isn't actually overly comedic. And you could, like, his character does have so much heart and is quite realistic.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy that this Monarch show is like the most grounded piece of Monsterverse media.
How about when he is talking about his manga group? They're going under the cover. They're searching for May later in the show. And then he's like, yeah, she's just part of our manga group. We went to Japan. We all met in the manga group. And you think he's just completely bluffing. But then to sell it even further, he just names all manner of, like, manga artists and creators. And, like, he's obviously really into manga.
Everybody else is just staring at him like, Tim, man.
Yeah, I liked Tim. And I feel like by the end of the show, every single character is just really well fleshed out, real realistic. And I wish that the characters in the Monsterverse movies were kind of like these guys, but
It'd be so cool to see a bit more crossover. Like, I don't know, our first Godzilla movie, we had, like, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I can't remember their names anymore,
Yes.
but having characters like those, or even like Bryan Cranston pop up somewhere and I don't know, for a brief cameo, it'll be nice to see a bit more connection between these movies and shows.
That's still what's weird to me, because it does feel like the Monsterverse still feels so disconnected, because going by this timeline, which I'm probably going to get completely wrong.
To be fair, this movie ends prior to King of the Monsters.
Yeah, it does, eh?
So it's fair that Kyle Chandler isn't in it. I'll give it that.
But then why in King of the Monsters do we not see any of these characters? Why in Godzilla
We'll see.
versus Kong do we not see any of these characters?
The-
Who are like the creator of Monarch, one of the creators, she is now on Skull Island at the end of the show. Why isn't she in any of the movies?
I'm going to throw something out there for you. We see like the quote unquote leader of Monarch.
Yes.
Isn't she the whole time like said to be the assistant director?
Oh, she might be. Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Because
we all know Lance
I don't
Reddick
know.
is the actual director.
do we?
Yeah, we do.
And there's 5 seconds of fame.
I'm going to throw out a prediction.
Yeah.
I think that Keiko, Dr. Keiko Randa, our favorite, played by Mary Yamamoto, I think that she's going to make an appearance in Godzilla X Kong.
You say that with such courage.
I
that
think she will.
I'm going to say that you saw her name somewhere in like a leak or something.
I didn't. But just the way this show ends, when like she is back with the modern Monarch gang and the OG Monarch gang are all together on Skull Island before the events of King of the Monsters. Kong's there. She obviously is going to have something to do with Skull Island, Kong, Apex Cybernetics. Like, it'll make sense to bring her in.
Well, it's hard because let me pull up some dates. I want to say that Godzilla vs. Kong is set in 2024.
Yeah, and in that we're told that Skull Island flooded and all the iwi died.
It ends up being like 9 to 7 years after this show is set.
Yeah.
So a lot can happen in between that time.
But what's interesting is at the end of this show, it's not Monarch that are stationed on Skull Island, it's Apex Cybernetics.
I'm looking forward to season 2. That's all I can say. Now, I'd love to see like at least one character pop up in the new movie, even if that's like, I don't know, Tim. I'd love to imagine if Tim showed up.
Dude, that'd be cool.
And another thing I think this show does quite well is like it leaves room for more characters to grow. Like we have some characters who we don't actually see that much of. We have that worker for Monarch who always wore the Hawaiian vests and she wore the headphones.
Yeah.
We barely see anything about her, and I don't know. I am really looking forward to a season 2 of this show because it just feels like there's so much to offer, not just in terms of characters, but also places to go. We could see the events that lead to Skull Island being like destroyed or taken over.
Yeah. I feel like even Hiroshi, who is the dad in this that they're all looking for, he's like the kind of the crux of the show is everyone's looking for Hiroshi. We don't see him much in the show.
No.
We see brief glimpses of him. We like see a bit with him in the past talking to Lee Shaw. But it feels like at the end of the show, he is now a main player. He's reunited with his mum and his kids.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it would be real interesting to see more of his story, who he's shown in a real antagonistic light, having these two families. He was cheating on each of them. He was stuffing up Monarch. He was like
only chasing his own desires and theories and forgetting about his family.
Like, he's probably the cause that Lee Shaw was chucked in that retirement home for 40 years. Like, I'd love to see him fleshed out and become more human as well.
Yeah. There's so much room. There's so much room to grow for this show.
Should we talk about the monsters? Because even though the show's monster light, there are a few in here. We have Godzilla.
What?
We have Godzilla, Michael. We've got the Ion Dragon.
This is what took down Bill Rander's ship early on, and is this the one we see in the last episode as well?
Yeah, there's a battle between Godzilla and the Ion Dragon in the last episode that's only a couple minutes long, but it's still pretty cool. We see Godzilla come through the rift into this place between places as he takes on the Ion Dragon. He like grabs at it, rips off bits of his tail, the Ion Dragon spewing acid into Godzilla's face, stopping his atomic breath, and then real quickly Godzilla like rips off one of the wings and chucks him back through the rift, and then it's over.
Can't blame the dude. He's strong.
Imagine if we see like the Ion Dragon make a reappearance in Godzilla X Kong, just mangled, missing a wing.
Like that specific one?
Yeah, he's evolved as well. He's got like pink spikes. We've got the Mother Longlegs and the Mantle Claw, which we just see briefly with John Goodman at the start. We see new titans, the Endoswarmers, which are the spiders.
They're like the cicada things that molt their shells.
So the Endoswarmers, we see an Endopede, which is the grown-up, bigger, monstrous version that comes out of one of the rifts when they return to that spot. We see the Frostvark, which is a real interesting titan we see in the early episodes of the show in the Arctic. It's like a giant mole almost.
Yeah, snowy mole. It shocks me that this is, and forgive me if I'm wrong, the first like snow or ice themed monster we've had as a Godzilla.
Hey. Maguma.
Monster?
Hey. We can't forget about Maguma.
That has ice powers.
Yeah,
Frosty
Maguma has
powers.
lava. Yeah.
This Frostmark is quite cool.
It was cool seeing the
it.
abilities, right? Like when it got close to something and just started slowly freezing it.
And it's almost like it's
awesome.
sucking the heat out of it rather than like a frost breath. And the trio of modern Monarch and Lee have to try take it down. It was so funny in this part of the show. What was the pilot's name? Duho?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Every time Kurt Russell said Duho, it just made me think back to Big Trouble. What was the Chinese name in that?
I can't remember.
Lao Pan.
Yeah, Lao Pan's a bad guy.
The exact same intonation.
Yeah, the Frostvark, I really enjoyed the Frostvark. It's attracted to fire, any explosion it wants to eat up. But again, it was just real lame how they crash right next to the Frostvark. The Frostvark clearly sees them. And then next scene, they're hiding in a cave. How do they outrun this guy?
Bro, moles have bad eyes.
You're right. They weren't hot enough. I couldn't find them.
They weren't hot enough. What a dunk on this crew.
Hey, I'm not.
Sorry, Kurt Russell, you're not hot enough.
And we've got King Kong. We saw at the end, which is pretty fun. I think that the first season of the show was quite Godzilla focused. I'd love for it to be more Kong focused. Next season would be fun.
Give me a season 3 of Mothra.
Oh, or Rodan. We'll see what Rodan's.
Can you imagine each season is like kind of focused on a different main player in the game?
That'll be fun. And then it's them versus the Iron Dragon, who's just getting teared apart every season. Loses another wing, loses his legs.
By the end, it's just a worm on the ground.
And then the last monster, Micah, we get a live action Bullfango.
No.
The Bramble Boar.
It's like a little moss wine Bullfango.
Thoughts on the Bramble Boar?
Kurt Russell's favorite monster.
Yeah, officially Kurt Russell has come out and said it's his favorite Titan, the Bramble
It's
Boar.
fine. I will say something that I don't like about this show, and it's a little bit of a gripe with the Monsterverse in general, is that in the past, Godzilla has always had enemies that are like, this is the one big monster that he fights against in this movie. It's always an incredibly crazy, hard kaiju to defeat.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what set him apart from other shows like Godman, Green Man, Zone Fighter, Ultraman, where it's just like a monster of the week type of thing. I don't know if I quite like the idea of just having so many titans or monsters all around the world all the time. I mean, I'd rather them be in a show like this than just pop up all the time in movies.
But I think we do get them pop up all the time in the Monsterverse movies.
Like in King of the Monsters.
Like we at least like 5 to 10 creatures every Monsterverse movie.
I'm hoping that now that the Monarch show's out, it'll more so just focus on those smaller ones.
Mike, we already know Doug's coming in Godzilla X Kong.
That's what season 4 of Monarch is actually confirmed to be about.
Doug versus the Iron Dragon.
Doug becomes the dog of the group.
Yeah, I get what you mean though. Toho Godzilla monsters just feel so iconic and memorable and vibrant. And there's really none of them which you're like, oh, that guy's kind of lame. Whereas in the Monsterverse, it seems like quantity over quality almost. And they all just blend together.
Well, not necessarily quality, because like they could be real good, but they just don't have any time to really shine when you have so many of them.
Yeah, they're just forgettable. Like, again, you'd want to look at the Toho movies and be like, that monster sucked. Whereas you'd look at this and be like, oh, those 10 monsters in the Monsterverse are kind of lame.
Like, isn't there one called Methuselah?
Yeah.
I don't know who Methuselah is.
Behemoth. What do you think of Behemoth, the guy with the tusks?
Give me a whole few episodes about Behemoth, then I'll love him.
Yeah, exactly. When Frostvark shows up in a Monsterverse movie, you're going to be like, whoa.
Yeah, because he actually had time to shine.
Do you have any trivia? And then we can get into some final thoughts.
Mainly just that Anna Sawai, she's a New Zealander, which means you can now cover this on 1978. No, there's not too much for the show. The only like real cool one that I could find was that Anna Sawai, who plays Kate in the show, she actually had experience of being in Japan during one of the 2011 Japan earthquakes.
Oh, whoa.
And she was saying like how it really influenced her and how she played this character. She said that the whole thing about her, meaning Kate, being traumatized, I've never had anything to that extent, but I was in Japan when the 2011 Tohoku earthquake hit, and whenever I now hear a buzzer, I'm always like, oh my God, is the same thing going to happen? So I just related to her on a different level. And it's real cool because I feel like she just does a great job of, especially in those earlier scenes, showing Kate's PTSD in quite a significant way.
Yeah.
And later on, like there's a scene where they're trapped in a collapsed tunnel and her and May are there together and May's trying to help her calm down. And it's cool to see an aspect like that you haven't seen Godzilla being portrayed as in a movie. We've had survivor's guilt in -1.
Yeah.
And this plays with the theme as Godzilla like being PTSD almost.
Yeah. Haunting you, but in a different way. I feel like a lot of shows and movies nowadays as well, like PTSD or anxiety or like panic attacks have just become so overdone and cliche. Like I feel like
it's weird to say, right?
Yeah, it's weird, but like didn't Puss in Boots have one that everyone was making fun of?
Were people making fun of the Puss in Boots movie?
I think so, just because people were like posting the like panic attack scene everywhere, and I think there's like an upcoming Spider-Verse short that's Spider-Man versus like anxiety. I feel like sometimes it's done in just a pandering, like just a weird way that it's like, oh look, we've included this. Isn't that emotional and powerful? Whereas I feel like in Monarch, I think this did it really, really well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say pandering, because I think it's just more of a subject that people have gotten aware of nowadays.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have so many people with so many projects around the world now. I just think because it's a bit more
widely talked about,
people are more forthcoming with putting their experiences in there and that into the movies as a subject topic. No, but yeah, like you said, I think this does it real well.
Because that's what I was afraid of, is just like them being like, oh, that's emotional enough. PTSD, let's stuff that into the show. But I think it was done really, really well, especially when we get them going back to the rubble of San Francisco and we see Kate like just being unable to function almost by the memories and the flashbacks. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, like using -1 as an example, whenever you tackle hard topics like that in movies, you have to do it with a real reverence to make it work well. And I feel like, surprisingly, Monarch actually did it real well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
No other trivia, though. Any last thoughts? What did I have? Talking about how I forgot who Billy was when they got to Hollow Earth.
Billy? Bill Randa. You just call him Billy?
Billy. Kurt Russell was talking to Keiko and he's like, yeah, last I heard he was lost on a ship on a random island. I literally wrote down as a note, Billy is for sure not dead.
You think that John Goodman's not dead?
He doesn't seem like Billy to me.
He got eaten by a skull crawler. That's what happened to him, right? He was like taking photos. He got eaten by a skull crawler. And then we heard the like camera flash going off in the skull crawler's belly.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Any prediction? It was cool to hear Walter Simmons' name dropped. He was the villain in GVK who made Mechagodzilla.
He worked at Apex, or he was the head of it, right?
Yeah, and they had a little team up with AET. And the other thing, I'm making a prediction. I think John Goodman, we've seen. I think they're going to showcase a John in each season of Monarch. I think we're going to see John C. Reilly in this season.
He's going to come back for a flashback.
Well, he can now revisit Kong on Skull Island again.
How are they going to make him look 40 years? No, they just need to put him in Axis Mundi from when he returns home to see his family.
Yeah. That's how they get any actor from any of the previous stuff, and now they just shove them in Axis Mundi for a little bit.
Yeah. They can bring Tom Hiddleston back. And he can look exactly the same after being in Axis Mundi.
Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson have been there.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson found a way to get to Axis Mundi.
Just before he was killed, he fell through a hole. He fell through a rift. How do you feel about the Hollow Earth in general now? Because before it was just, oh yeah, there's holes under the earth that they traverse.
I'm okay with it because I feel like Axis Mundi, I don't know if it is the Hollow Earth. It feels like it could be a separate thing entirely.
Yeah. Because in Godzilla versus Kong, we clearly see Godzilla uses atomic breath to make a hole down to the Hollow Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But then in this, it seems like they need to go through portals to get to Axis Mundi, which is between places, how does it work?
Bro, ask Keiko. She knows. Ask Hiroshi. He knows.
Ask that ant that was walking through the holes in the paper.
That ant knows. On that topic, we now have animals which save the world in big franchises. We have the rat in Avengers Endgame, which helped Ant-Man get back. We had the ant in this.
If the ant didn't go through that hole in the paper, Bill Randa would have never realized what the Hollow Earth was.
If Bill didn't leave his Chinese on that paper.
Yeah.
His Chinese food, man. This show was a lot of fun. I feel like, I watched it in a week and I feel like it would have probably hit me a lot more if I watched it while it was coming out weekly.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the rest of Podzilla and how they'll wear up to date. But no, I think it's a bit of a rough and a bit of a slow start, how it feels a lot more realistic and grounded than some of the other MonsterVerse media. But I feel like it really picks up, and by the end of the show, there's just so many mysteries and so many characters that you feel quite invested in. I don't think I was like 5 out of 5 excited. And I don't think that's for many detriments of the show. You know how something's good and you can't find flaws in it.
Yeah.
Or many flaws in it, but it just doesn't reach its full potential. I feel like if I had to nitpick, sometimes there were too many characters.
Yeah.
Like you had like a couple generals back in the old Monarch crew who, whether they needed to be there or not.
But that old Japanese scientist dude that used to be on the wrong side of the war, who's there for like a little bit.
He is there for a little bit. You have the other Monarch agent who Kurt Russell teams up with at the end.
That's right.
The Hawaiian short lady. Like a few of them get shafted a little bit. But like I said, room to grow for if a season 2 comes in.
Yeah.
But I feel like all in all, I feel like this is a real cool piece of MonsterVerse and even just Godzilla media, giving these characters and ideas so much more of a chance and time to shine and show what they're made of and showcase the aspects of this world that Legendary has built up. I think it's real cool. I'm fully on board with this idea, and I'm just excited for where the MonsterVerse, but Monarch as well, goes from here on.
You're a huge MonsterVerse fan, is what you're saying.
I mean, I haven't disliked the MonsterVerse. No. I'm a Godzilla fan. I'm a MonsterVerse fan. Is it one and the same?
Yeah.
Are they mutually exclusive?
Yeah.
Those were 2 separate questions. No. Jasha, thanks to this show, I think I did join 4 online manga groups.
You joined 4 online manga
purely
groups.
Because of this show.
Because of this show.
Tim inspired me that much.
It's such a good scene. I love Tim.
I'll throw it back at you. Yeah, what are your end thoughts for Monarch? Legacy of Monsters.
I love how Bigfoot is MonsterVerse canon.
What did they say? The Yukon Yeti?
I think, early in the show when they're like uncovering Monarch's hidden files, they clearly find a picture of Bigfoot. You're like, wow, look, it's Bigfoot there. It's a Yeti.
Or is it half human?
It could be half. Monarch season 6 is the snowman.
Monarch season 47.
How about Kate just guessing Hiroshi's like...
Oh, yeah. I tried to take a picture of that while watching it on my phone, but Netflix doesn't let you get a scene.
She guesses the vault password in like under a minute by guessing your birth month, my birthday, your mother's birth month, my mom's birthday. Like, I would never get to that conclusion.
Would anyone?
I would try like 3 or 4 combinations. I'll try, sure. Try your birthday, Kate. Try Kintaro's birthday. But then from there...
Even if you want to add them all together, why the heck would you do months from 2 of them and days from 2 of them? I am of the firm belief that he had a password that was related to something else entirely, and it was just a coincidence that those dates lined up.
How about when we get big title cards in the flashback and we get a title card that says G-Day -1? That's how they say, like a day before G-Day is G-Day -1. Clearly, they did it because of -1.
It's good. I like it.
It's pretty fun. I like how they did it. Something I loved was the bright orange, like Showa-esque jumpsuits they get into when they go into Axis Mundi. Like they call it the underspace, right? It's not outer space, it's underspace.
The underspace.
It looks like the outer space suits they used throughout the Showa era.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a cool callback. Yeah, I mean, I loved the show. I think it significantly picked up for me in the second half.
For sure.
The first half, I just found the characters unlikable. I felt the VFX kind of janky. I felt a lot of the plot lines cliche, from her guessing the vault password to them surviving a Titan just because they managed to outrun it. Like, some of it seemed real stupid, but by the second half and the end of the show, I was just completely on board. The character work gets so much better. All the plot lines and pieces they set up just all start falling into place. And the thing I think I love most about it was just how it plays with what Monarch is. I mean, we realize that G-Day or Godzilla attacking or the 2014 Godzilla movie only happened because of Monarch. Like, it's their fault because they villainized the only people that could have prevented it. That original trio that were actually doing good work were all torn apart. Monarch changed because they kind of villainized that original crew. And we just see Monarch, how it affects everyone's life. I mean, Monarch has screwed every single person's life up in this show.
Yeah.
The modern day crew, they're all getting stuffed up by Apex and Monarch. Lee Shaw lost so many years of his life when he was only really doing the right thing because of Monarch.
Yeah.
They didn't even want to search for Keiko. They like gave up straight away when she falls in there. They didn't even want to search for Shaw when he falls into the rift. Like, they are only concerned with like money and progress and trying to kill all the monsters.
I mean, that point specifically is paralleled in the modern day when Kate, May, and Lee Shaw again fall into one of them. They don't even want to spare any resources trying to save these three people.
Which I think it's cool because we've seen the Monarch built up so much in the MonsterVerse movies. It's to a point where both of us don't really like Monarch's inclusion because they're just the technologically advanced group that does anything and can take down any Titan, and they're kind of flawless. Whereas this shows the darker side of it, the people that they've had to climb over and push into the ground and kill and forget about to get where they are. And it shows that they're not the good people Monarch aren't. Like, they know the most. They've got the most resources at their disposal. But are they really truly good? Because Lee Shaw's whole thing in this is he kind of takes an antagonistic turn, but he's wanting to close the rifts, to like blow them up, to keep the world separate, to keep Godzilla and the Titans below and
to
us
keep
up
it
above.
from the Titans, to stop any more G-Days from happening.
Exactly. Whereas Monarch's like, nah, let's just keep them open and monitor them and watch the Titans and kill them if they become a problem.
I love what Kurt says. Monarch monitors and then monitors again.
Yeah.
They look at the data, then they look at the data again.
Like, are they really the good guys? I don't think they are.
They're this super powerful organization, but they're just so independent and not really controlled by anyone else.
Yeah.
And they're happy like that.
And I thought that was just a cool aspect of the story, to flip Monarch on its head, show us what they really are, which will affect what we think about them going forward in the MonsterVerse. Yeah, all these character stories just all wrapped up perfectly, and I'm really, really excited to see what they tackle for the next season. I love that we have a piece of Godzilla media that isn't about Godzilla, it's about the people in Godzilla's world and how it affects their lives. So I'm going to join Micah. I'm right now on my laptop.
Yep.
While I'm tied to this bed and don't have access to I somehow have access to the internet. I'm going to join 4 online manga groups as well.
Nice. Different ones?
Yeah, different ones to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is our announcement for our spin-off manga podcast.
This is a good show, though. I will say, like, if you started it and stopped, definitely it picked up at the halfway point for me.
Yeah, it's hard. I feel like it would have been rough watching it weekly, especially during the start. I also think it's rough trying to binge it. I think, like, try aim for an episode every day or two.
Yeah.
And you'll probably have, like, the best experience with this.
Yeah, I agree. We have a few messages that I'll get to. We've got one here from Nurkles. And Nurkles said, I went in with hesitant expectations but was pleasantly surprised. The enticing mystery and drama plot never wasted the viewer's time and gave the talent ample opportunity to really shine on screen. A slew of new monsters with just enough appearances from Big G himself makes for a true diamond of the MonsterVerse franchise for fans and new viewers alike. I'm excited to see what the future holds for the series. Nurkles gives it 4.5 Russells out of 5.
Nice. That's great. Yeah. It's cool to finally have like a great non-animated show.
Yeah.
About Godzilla.
Yeah, I agree. We've got one here from Frogurt as well. And Frogurt says, hey Drake boys, Frogurt here, reporting in on the show that boosted Apple TV's viewer base. The MonsterVerse tries its hand at a TV show, and it does it really well on its first try. I love all the characters, the story is engaging, and the monster stuff is an added bonus. I think it handles juggling between 2 casts of characters across 2 different time periods really well, and I like how it finally gives us a pretty decent explanation on the Hollow Earth, and we finally get LGBTQIA+ representation with Kate. I can only hope that we get a second season in the future, but if we don't, I'll be glad if we at least see some of these characters return in a future film. 5 out of 5 secret Randa children.
5 out of 5. Are there more Randa children than we know of?
There could be. How many families does he have across the globe?
That's season 2. Hiroshi just has yet another wife.
They must be planning to bring some of these characters into the like movies, right?
I wonder if
Be a missed opportunity if they don't.
I wonder if Lance Reddick was supposed to be in this show prior to his passing.
Whoa, playing the role of that lady that's in charge of Monarch. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to if we see ties from here on out.
We have a voice message just to finish us off from JB. Let's give that a listen.
Hey, what's up, Micah and Jasher, my New Zealand Godzilla buddies that I've never actually met in real life, but I study your accents because I'm an actor and I just love talking about Godzilla and Ghidorah. And today I'm sending in my first audio review for Monarch Legacy of Monsters because, I got here a little late to the party, couldn't review anything else. But I gotta say, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, well, let's start off with the good parts. My favorite part was the Godzilla sand scene when he was coming out of the sand, because that was a direct reference to Mothra vs. Godzilla, which is one of my favorites. And I just thought that was a great recreation of that scene. That was just a great scene in general. And I also liked it because Godzilla, he just got up, looked at everybody, and just walked away. He's typical Godzilla fashion. Another favorite scene of mine is when Godzilla, they tried to explode him with the atomic bomb. He just looks down at the atomic bomb and he's like, and then it just explodes. So yeah, that was a highlight. But I would also say the characters and story in this kind of surprised me. I actually thought it was pretty engaging. I liked that they had more to it than just monsters. You had Kurt Russell and his son playing the same character, which is kind of cool. I've never really seen that done before. And you have this storyline of this, dad who has 2 different families. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of Godzilla -1, how it's like I was invested in both stories equally almost. But I will say that for this being called Monarch Legacy of Monsters, there weren't a ton of monsters. I think we saw Godzilla, and then that weird thing called the Ion Dragon, which I don't even know why it's called the Ion Dragon. And then Godzilla wiped the floor with him in the last scene. That was cool. We saw that crab. Yeah, we saw that crab in the beginning of the series with John Goodman. I wish there was more John Goodman in here. But yeah, other than that, I thought this series was pretty good. I'll give this 4 buses of children falling off the Golden Gate Bridge out of 5. Yeah, I think that works. All right, until next time, guys.
JV, it's awesome to hear from you.
JV, what a legend. That New Zealand accent, I think he's got us down pat.
King Ghidorah.
That's what we sounded like. If you listen back to those...
They look like little British boys.
I reckon we could get JB to just dub an episode of Podzilla pretending to be us. No one would ever notice. I agree that the Ion Dragon's just weird. Why'd they call him the Ion Dragon? Why is he another big grey monster who's just forgettable? Monsterverse, just give us some vibrant, iconic monsters,
Bro, Ion has to do with electric charges. Ion Dragon makes sense.
It was spewing acid. With his electric charges. You're thinking about Axis Mundi.
No, it's another cool dragon. I like the monsters. Give me a whole episode with JB just talking about monsters and getting excited over explosions. That's great.
What if we had a whole Monarch episode on John Goodman and it was just an hour leading up to his death of him just getting into different situations with monsters, narrowly surviving.
Just him running away the whole time. Yeah. That's great.
Well, guys, we are nearly up to date with every single piece of Godzilla content. The Podzilla journey is nearly at a close. We have, of course, the new season of Chibi Godzilla coming out. We've got Godziban, which we haven't got to yet, but we're still planning to. We've got the Godzilla Festival short films that are canon nowadays, or at least officially endorsed by Toho.
We've briefly talked about them, but it'd be nice to do an in-depth talk.
Yeah, so we've got a few things that are still left on our cards, but the big finish, the beginning of the end almost, will be next week when we talk about Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. The big new Monsterverse movie. We're fully up to date on Monsterverse now, Micah. We're ready for anything they throw our way. And the synopsis goes: rise together or fall alone. Following their explosive showdown, Godzilla and Kong must reunite against a colossal, undiscovered threat hidden within our world. challenging their very existence and our own. And later on, this coming week, we're going to be at the New Zealand premiere. We're going to be some of the first in the world to see it, and we're going to be recording straight away, straight afterwards, getting something up on our podcast feed. So as soon as you see Godzilla X Kong, give us a listen. We'd love to hear your thoughts, podzillapod@gmail.com. We'll probably the next couple episodes share your guys' reviews and your takes on the movie, because we can't wait to hear what you guys think. I get really excited when, like, especially with -1, but now that we're covering these newer movies, like, we can get real-time reactions, see how people find it.
And even just following the aftermath, like doing that with -1 was fantastic. And really looking forward to what people think of the latest iteration of the Monsterverse.
Oscars next year, are we going to get Godzilla X Kong Best Picture nomination?
Man, best special effects for Doug.
For Doug.
It's going to even come out and Doug's already getting dunked on.
Did you see on my shelf over there, did you see my Doug action figure?
I do. I see Doug and Sugo.
Yeah. Dude, my pride and joy, those two.
Which one's your pride? Which one's your joy?
Doug's my pride. Sugo's my joy. I feel like not 4 or 5 episodes ago, I was just dunking hardcore on Doug, and now I own an action figure of him. I don't know what's happened to me.
Well, Jay's just been stuck in the bed, tied up to it the past few days. He's just been playing with that Doug toy. He's got nothing else to do.
Hey, yeah.
But next week, we'll see you all straight off the red carpet.
Well, straight live from the red carpet. Live from the red carpet, we're going to be recording a Podzilla episode. Stay tuned.
Thanks for listening to Podzilla. Join our Discord server, tag us on Letterboxd, and follow us on our socials at PodzillaPod. The links are all in our show notes. If you're looking to help support the show and fund more adventures on Monster Island, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Podzilla to get access to extended cuts of every episode and the occasional bonus ep. Big shout out to Cassie Celine for our seasonal podcast art, and a quick disclaimer that all music and additional audio used in this episode belong entirely to the Turbo Company.